got zero friends.
You just entered the girls' locker room. Welcome back. It's your girl Talita Mokia, hanging with the ladies.
Hello, it's Emma Dean or Emma.
Hey, this is CJ.
And today we chatting about imposter syndrome. What you ladies got to say about that?
That's how I get through my everyday life.
It's destroying people day by day.
I think it's a self-destruction type thing because I've suffered with, like, now that I know what it is, I can say I've suffered with imposter syndrome my whole life. Mm-hmm. I've been in schools, I've been in classrooms, I've been in environments that many people from where I'm from never was in. So always made me feel like, why are you here type thing to myself. Like, what did you do to make you feel like you could be here? So I always felt like I was the imposter in the room. Always. Even still to this day, sometimes, like, when I'm going through things, I'm like, why do you feel like you could do this? Like, even with school, like I was telling you, CJ, when I was finishing up my bachelor's degree, like I struggled. Like I started procrastinating because of imposter syndrome. It was really tearing me up because I'm like, who are you to be at this place in your life where you came from? You know, like who you are, what, like what line, like what bloodline you come from, like why you here type thing, like all the crap you've been through, but yet you're here. So it's a struggle. I know a lot of people struggle with it. I know personally a lot of people that struggle with it. You know, it's hard to feel like you're worthy to be in a room, you know, especially some of those bigger rooms when you sitting there with millionaires, you know, when you having conversations with them, you like, why am I here? Who am I to be here? But I don't know. What is your ladies' experiences with it?
Actually, I kind of feel that way at work a little bit, only because, like I said, coming from, you know, where I came from, I didn't expect to be where I'm at as far as my career, my salary. It's like, did I really get here? Like, do I deserve to be here? But I mean, of course, I thank God every day. I just never expected it.
Right. And, you know, being grateful don't stop that feeling of unworthiness. Like,
no, definitely. Like questioning, like when's it gonna fuck up?
Right.
Like,
every day you're like in fight or flight
out,
because you scared something gonna happen, like the rug gonna be pulled out from underneath you, not realizing like you earned your stripes to be here. Like I feel the same way at work, CJ. Like, granted, we work from home, but when you start talking to these people that's been doing it 30, 40 years, and you like, who am I to be having a conversation with these people? Like, how am I starting it? You know, like so many people from my old job applied for this position that interviewed before me, and I still got the position and started and was trained before they even got to the building. You know, and it's like you sit there and you're like, who am I to, how did I get here? How did this happen? How, you know, it's crazy the feeling, the thoughts that go through your mind. I think it, honestly, for me, I think it starts with how we learn to talk to ourselves, how we learn our self-talk. Like self-talk is very, very, very important. And I know growing up, like my mom was a single mom. She didn't know nothing about teaching me how to, you know, self-talk or whatever. She did what she thought was best. She was a teenage mom. So she did what she thought was best by saying stuff like, get your little dumb ass in the room and do your homework, right? So that's how you start to talk to yourself, like, why your little dumb ass doing this? You know, you learn that talk from the people who raised you. And imposter syndrome, I believe, I could be totally wrong, you know, I do only have a bachelor's in psychology. I didn't get the master's yet, but I feel like it starts with the self-talk. You know, you got to know how to talk to yourself, and I believe that that's what's going to help us when we get in those moments. Like, I know me and MB at work, and we just start sending each other like daily affirmations, and
we love our job. Like, I love my job today. Like, just
it's a great day
back at our old job. Like,
you gotta, you know.
it's not always good, but I love my job too. So I get it.
Yeah. And even when you don't, like you have a job. So I love the fact that I have a job. We have to learn to find the positivity in how we talk about ourselves, or say like, oh, I don't love my job today, but I have the ability to find another job, to find a better job, to, we got to watch how we talk to, we got to watch how we talk about ourselves. We got to talk about ourselves in a positive light. Like,
Michael.
That's like a generational thing as well, I feel, because like where I've been spending a lot of time with my grandmother now that my grandfather has passed away, the cult leader, like she's just so negative, man. Like she really is. And like she's got the people at the old folks home, like, like fooled because they're like, she's so sweet, she's so nice. I'm like, really? Really? Because every time I talk to her, yeah, like she's like, I hate it here. Like the food's bad. Like I don't like it, and I'm just like, really? Like, and that rubbed off on my mother. And God knows what her mother was like, because apparently she was just a bitch. So I mean, it's just like a generational thing as well. Like like my mother always like was focused on dieting and her body, and that rubbed off on me. And like when I was a teenager I had anorexia, and definitely, I mean, there's generational trauma there as well, because what you grow up with, the environment that you're in, and stuff like that. So definitely there. But also people pleasing, perfectionism, paralysis, and procrastination, or the 4 Ps of imposter syndrome. And they're categorized in subgroups of the perfectionist, the superwoman or man, the natural genius, the soloist, and the expert. So which category do you feel you fall underneath in your
all of them? All of them. My mother was a teacher. She was an educator most of my life. So we were always expected to excel. We were always expected to excel in everything that we did. It was never like, and she did it in a loving way most of the time. But that pressure, you always gonna feel like even though I'm an adult now, I still feel that same pressure. Like when I feel like and whenever I feel like I'm lacking behind, I feel that pressure like, oh, okay, you gotta do more, you gotta do better, you gotta be the best that's doing this. But that comes from my upbringing, like you were saying, it's generational. Like
always
things were said to her that affected her self-talk, about how she lived her life, being a teen mom, adopting my brothers at a young age. It So in her mind, people were telling her like, oh, you taking these extra kids on, them kids ain't gonna ever be nothing, and you're throwing your life away too. That was said to her a lot when she was younger. So of course she was on our back to make sure we all graduated from high school. We all went to college. We all did something. Like we all went to college. If we didn't like it, it didn't matter if we stayed, as long as we went. My brothers ended up going military. Me, I went to college, kept going back. I did little baby steps. Like I didn't do a full bachelor's degree. I did an associate's. I did a certificate first. Then I did an associate's degree. Then I became a medical assistant. It was always something. Like my husband said to me the other day, he was like, after, you finish your master's program, is this it for you? I think because of all that pressure that was put on me as a child, I can't see the it. And that came from her having all that pressure on her to make us good, because everybody told her that we were going to be, she was messing up our lives and we weren't going to be nothing and things like that. So, imposter syndrome, I think it kind of gets passed down, but I think I might fit in all those categories because of that. Like I have a perfectionist issue. I'm going to take something out and do it 100,000 times, i.e. while I'm sitting here with this hat on my head because my hair ain't finished and I started yesterday. If it don't look right, I'm taking them out and redoing it. It's just that, that's just how it is. And I try to be mindful, like with my own kids, not to put that pressure on them, because I know I put a lot of pressure on my kids, but I put pressure for a different reason. But now that realizing that some of that pressure is what causes me to have imposter syndrome, I might need to let up on them a little bit. Maybe I might think about it.
Wow, and they're not.
Huh?
I said, they're just not going to be happy.
Yeah, they don't get like they be like, oh my God, mama, you doing too much. Good thing they have a buffer, you know. That my husband, their dad, he's a buffer for them. We're very stern about certain things, but he is a buffer for them. So when I start applying too much pressure, he do kind of let my foot up off their neck a little bit, you know, kind of pull them out a little bit. But I don't know.
Your girls are doing great things though. Like
they are
awesome
they,
things.
they are, and I try to give them freedom to be who they are so that they can learn who they are, because I never want them to experience that imposter syndrome. I want them to know their worth, to know they're great, to know that they're worthy of all the things that they're doing, and it is for them, you know. So when I see my oldest daughter walking out the door with a afro on her head, with ran down Converses and she called them farmer jeans, her overalls, not caring how nobody see her, not caring how nobody feel about her, going to school and doing great things, it makes me proud that hopefully the generational trauma of the pressure that causes the imposter syndrome is breaking here. Hopefully. Hopefully. We out here trying. We trying to do the best we can.
So how to overcome the imposter syndrome?
Shoot, what they say?
Learn the facts, share your feelings. So I think we've like got past step 2. Celebrate our successes. Let go of perfectionism. Cultivate self-compassion. Share your failures and then accept it.
All of that's good. The only sucky part is this world is so judgmental. When you share your feelings, the next thing you know, you're a meme, you're talked about, you're made fun of, and you actually wind up feeling worse than what you felt before you shared your feelings. And we have to learn to be just a little more compassionate if we want people to open up, express how they feel, and just let us know what's going on so we could try to be a shoulder if if need be. But it's kind of hard, and I think that's why most people are imposters, because if they were to be honest and say, I grew up in a one parent household, I grew up poor, I grew up with my dad molesting me, or I grew up with my mom beating on me, drinking. If you open up, then people tend to be what's the word I'm looking for, insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard. It really is. It's kind of hard. You want to open up because you don't want to hold it inside, because it makes it worse. You're in your head. That's number one. You got to get out your head. But you're in your head because as soon as you feel like you let someone else in your head, they use it as ammo. So
I think the important part about when you're in your head too is what you're saying to yourself.
That's a good
point. Like Em said, self-compassion is number one. Like you can't we could want people to be compassionate to us all we want, but somebody being compassionate to you, if you're not compassionate to yourself, you're not going to accept it the way they're giving it. So you have to basically tell yourself that you're worthy of compassion by being compassionate with yourself. Like I have to tell myself, like, some of the process I'm going through, I have to tell myself sometimes, like, I have to catch myself talking negative to myself in my head, like, whoa, 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 watch your mouth, sis. And sometimes we have to be strong enough to do that. And I think in the world we live in, with social media, we feel like everybody is great. Everybody is doing everything right. Everybody is doing this. Everybody is doing that we don't allow ourselves compassion. We start to apply that pressure ourselves as opposed to outside pressure. And that's where the problem really starts to come in, because not only are you talking negative to yourself, you also applying pressure of stuff that you're seeing online that is not real life. Everything you see online is not real life.
So speaking of overcoming, I've got a really good story about imposter syndrome. I guess sort of kind of it's about Pizzagate. Y'all remember Pizzagate?
What happened in Pizzagate?
So Pizzagate was right, it was back in 2016, and it was when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump doing the whole election thing. And Donald Trump said that Hillary Clinton was running that pedophile ring in the underground parts of DC. So there is an underground part of DC, but it's down near the mall. And like it's also like at DuPont Circle, because there was actually like an underground mall at DuPont Circle back in the 90s and they closed it down. So there is like an underground system in DC, but not where he was alleging Pizzagate, which was up in Northwest DC. So anyway, my uncle, he knows the owner of Pizzagate, and he's or not Pizzagate, but the pizza restaurant where he said that they was having like the sex trafficking and stuff like that. Which I've actually been in the back of this pizza restaurant. It is not. It is actually an art studio. I have welded it back there, so I can confirm like it is not connected to any underground sex rings. But anyway, my uncle was friends with the guy that owns a pizza shop, and they had done like business dealings and antiques, and the owner really enjoyed the artwork that my uncle provides. So anyway, the owner was emailing back and forth with the campaign manager of Hillary Clinton's campaign about some art pieces of my uncle. So when Hillary email got hacked, my uncle's name got leaked. And then people from the right wing started coming out of the deep like the deep net, and like they stalked my uncle's Instagram. They found where he had photographed the owner's house, and the owner is like, he's a gay man. He lives with his partner. Like they have a very nice maximalist house. And my uncle took a picture of a cherub. And if you know what a cherub is, like, the Greek century baby, super cute, it's wrapped in a towel, doing its whole ethereal thing or whatever. Anyway, that picture ended up on Fox News and they used it to say that he was part of the sex ring.
Are
And
you
my,
kidding me?
my uncle was getting death threats on Instagram, like people were just sending him hate mail. The only thing, his only response during all of this was just like, well, maybe I'll sell something.
See, and that's because
He had this,
he had his own positivity inside of him. So it was
yeah,
like, y'all not touching me.
yeah, you're not
I'm
taking
here
me
and
down.
this is where I'm at. And if y'all want to talk, go buy something.
Like that's for sale here, please buy this. Like you can own a piece of this like memorabilia. But yeah, no, he ended up on Fox News and he had to send a cease and desist letter to Fox News. But I mean, he stayed positive about it the entire
Right.
time. Like I'm gonna sell something, like someone gonna buy something now, like I'm getting hits.
This is when it's gonna happen. This is the big one.
Yeah.
But the positivity and how you talk to yourself, like I'm learning that that's a big part of who you are and what's going to happen, how you talk to yourself, what you're putting out there. And we got to learn how to check ourselves, like
Absolutely.
we earned the right to be where we are, and it may not feel like it, but we did. We earned the right to be where we are, and it is what it is.
We deserve this. We deserve this.
Worked hard to get to where you are,
Oh,
so you can't let nobody rip it from you, because then what?
It's hard trying to be you in a world that is so obsessed with perfection. I seen something on Instagram and they were like, 23-year-olds are mad that they're not where a 33-year-old is.
Well, we got a 10-year head start.
Get in line. Get in line.
And that's the point. They have to understand
over my dead 33-year-old ass. Like, no, get fucking line.
There's battle wounds that come with this. And you gotta understand that. It's not just, I should exactly, I should already be, in a $1 million mansion with, a $500,000 income, blah, blah, blah. There are battle wounds. And if you're not ready for the battle wounds, then you're technically not ready for that success. And a lot of people don't understand that. So they perpetrate. And then when their feelings get hurt, they don't know what to do.
I remember as a little girl, my grandmother used to tell me, she used to be like, don't ask for what others have because you don't know what they've been through to get what they got. And I live by that. I tell my girls the same thing, because you don't know what kind of war, what kind of fire. You don't know how many times we done been down to hell, the pits of hell, dragging stuff in and out. to get where we are. So people got to be mindful of that too. And that also feeds into that imposter syndrome. Like, you got to be mindful of asking for what others have when you don't know the hell they've been through to get it. The hell, like, I tell people that all the time. People say, like, talk about me and my husband marriage. They're like, oh my God, you guys are such a great couple. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, baby.
Hello.
Hey, B.
Hello.
We don't wrestle with demons, okay? To get to where we are. But if you're not willing to put in the work to get where you going or where you want to be, then shut the fuck up about it.
Or like, if you don't grow, you fucked it up.
Like, just shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, I mean, you
need like to anything in life is like a plant. If you don't water it, it doesn't grow. So
exactly. And you have to be willing to fight that battle. You can't just give up. And that's like a major thing. Suicide is at an all-time high. Depression is at an all-time high. Drug use. I mean, the list goes on and on because people are trying to deal with feelings that they don't know how to deal with because they're looking at the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok, and they're like, this is perfection, and I want to be this and I want to be that. But they don't know those backstories. Mm-hmm. They're based in what they feel they're missing off of a 1 minute clip. You have to realize there's like thousands of other minutes in your day you're missing out on because you're focused on that one clip that could be shot in a studio somewhere and you don't know. So we have to stop idolizing, the unknown, I guess, and focus, like you said, Talita, feeding ourselves the good. Yeah. Just like we feed ourselves, fruits and vegetables, we have to feed ourselves positive thoughts and affirmations. So,
and you got to be willing to check yourself too. Like, I start feeling like an imposter, I can identify it and be like, yo, sis, what are you doing? I tell myself, like, what are you doing? You deserve to be here. Like, you got to know you got to be willing to check yourself. Some people don't want to check themselves when they're in that situation because they like the attention they get from talking to others about it. Now, granted, sharing your feelings is important. But what are you doing on the inside of your head when you're in your own head to correct it? Like, we live in a world where everybody wants sympathy for nothing. And I'm not saying like
exactly
just, you going through something, you having these feelings, this imposter syndrome feeling. But what are you doing about it? Let's address that. And why you keep having the same feeling about the same thing? Because once you conquer that feeling and you've overcome it for that thing, why are you letting yourself go back there without checking yourself? Nope, we've been here before. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
And move forward.
That's right. Accept the battle wounds. I mean, and it's hard.
Stop the insanity.
Like, that's really what it is. Like, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So I don't understand what people be doing. Like, you gotta.
Days lead into weeks and months and years, and you can't let it lead to self-destruction because you're the only one that can technically take care of you.
Yeah.
No matter how many, husbands and wives and moms and dads, you are technically the only one who can take care of you. So what are you going to do to help you? And
what I tell you all the time, when you be trying to talk to me about stuff, I'm like, nope, my boundaries are strong. I be like, nope, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it. I be like, she be trying to tell me stuff, and I be like, oh, okay. And go right to another topic. Like, we're not going to deal with that.
We're just ignore it.
Because.
And I know what you're talking about because you don't want certain things to disturb your peace. Right. And I get that. And the thing is, I understand it. The
thing is with that is not just about it disturbing my peace. It's about when I let other people, you got to know you, right? I know I'm an empath. I know that about me. So when I let other people problems come in, then I'm dealing with the other part of imposter syndrome when I want to please those people, when I want to help those people. I want to make their burdens less. But it's usually at the detriment of myself. And I had to learn to put those boundaries in place. Like, okay, I understand you're going through that, and I'm so sorry you're going through that, but I can't help you. I can't help you because I'm not going to deteriorate myself making sure you're good. Because time and time again, as women, we all know this. You help someone and you get them all, they all nice, shally, clean, polished up. And then when you all down in the crud from helping them, they on about their business. They getting on. They're not looking back. They're not coming to say nothing. So I had to learn to put those boundaries in place. And a lot of people do not like that about me. And I'm okay with it. I had to get to a place where I'm okay with it. Like setting those boundaries did put me in a little bit of depression. But that short-term depression so that I can have strong boundaries and a peace of mind and be there for myself was way more important than people pleasing. Because it's in those people pleasing moments that you start to realize, like, oh goodness, I was the same person. I came from the same place with these people. I did the same things these people did. Why am I here? How did I get out? Why did I get out? Now you see how that kind of plays into the imposter syndrome too. Like that people pleasing and not having those strong boundaries in place. Like I'd be like, phone ring. I'd be like, voicemail. Sometimes I don't even take the phone out the house with me when I go. I'm like, if they looking for me, they call, cry.
Yeah. I mean, but again, you don't know unless you ask or whatever. And there's still certain things that I'm learning about, people and whatnot. And I'm going to ask if I call you my friend, if I call you my sis, if I say I love you, and I hear something, I'm definitely going to ask. But I also get not wanting to deal with the foolishness, because if you don't have boundaries, you'll find yourself empty while, as you put it, someone else is full, clean, polished, looking good, smiling, enjoying life. In the meantime, you feel like shit.
Having fun without you.
Like, exactly.
I put all this work into it. Like,
exactly. And I can't even get you to bring me a soda. That's some bullshit.
Not even a soda. I can't get you to pick up the phone and text me.
Exactly.
You haven't spoken to me in 3 days.
Exactly.
And that's where us a lot as women, like, especially when you come from a hard background, where I believe all three of us has come from a hard background, you learn to people please early because they're not giving you that extra pat on the back that you want. So you doing above and beyond to try
to be accepted.
But then you take that with you into your adult life.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? You become a people pleaser, tearing yourself up while you're pleasing and helping these people. You dealing with imposter syndrome, you dealing with anxiety, you dealing with depression. Honestly, I really believe like everything starts with you. You have to identify that it's an issue there. You have to identify what needs to be done to correct that issue. And you have to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to do the work.
And you have to understand, you're not going to always be perfect.
No, nobody will never be perfect.
So don't believe it. You know you. Do what makes you happy as long as you're not hurting other people.
That's it. That's it.
I was going to say we need to do self-help journals for everybody now. Like we're going to market those. Yeah. So please check out our Instagrams to get your very own so we can work through everything together.
Like, share, subscribe, comment, follow us on IG at The Girls Locker Room. We do appreciate you guys sitting here, chatting it up with us. We will be back next week with another video. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.
I got 0 friends. Whoop.